Etunaddawo nga tutya amazima ago ag'okulowooza ku kiriwo kati ekitulya kati kirimu tulya tulaba signs twa bill ya UPDF amended bill came months ago. We kept talking about it. Perhaps people kept thinking maybe it cannot happen. The lawyers were busy talking about the law. You see, Article Gundi, Article what, and all that. It ate us. Now the thing has been passed. Our comrades are going to languish there. Their hopes are in us who are outside. What is our strategy? Us who are outside now. What are we just focusing on 2026? Gw'omanya atya nti Musaba ajja kudduka? Gw'omanya atya nti n'etteeka lijja kuyita bagambe nti kati tetukyamulonda mu general election? It is MPs. What is our strategy? I think that's something we should really think. Not in bad faith, kwerumaaluma, naye tukozese obwongo tulowooze. My co-host, I yield the mic back to
you. You can give an example of the last election. Internet yonna baagiggyako. The whole kibuga nga baggizzaamu buli kika ky'abasirikale abammamba Besigye Nabikoola. You know that there was a lot that was done, and expect it the next time they're going to do us. As Juliana said, this guy has been recruiting every day. Batwala abaana ekyankwanzi simanyi na Wambu babayingiza bwa LDU na biki basoma. You get? Naye olowooza babasomeseza Buganda Magye nedda. For this time of elections, they are ready to do on orders za mutabani wa Museveni ne Museveni. You know? And apparently it is Muhoozi leading this country kubanga olabira ddala yawa order. Kyayagala kye kikola. Kati you're telling me lwaki naffe nga bwe batubeera 10 steps ahead. Kale kino tukitwale nti tubawa kawuddiisa naffe tubawe bagiyita ki counter attack gye bateetegekedde. We think of something, we strategize differently. Naye nga mu public we are giving them something else. Tulabe bwe tukijjawo kubanga trust me, these guys are prepared to do anything to take power again. The next kate batutwambuliza mu next elections. Wadde ng'olumu tetumanyi what they are planning, what they are going ahead. Kubanga there are lots of bills that are going to pass. Lots of bills ezinyigiriza abantu. Bawo balese y'abakadaama, balese yaki bonna abantu abali mu diaspora. Babaleetaleetako bibiru ebigenda okulaba nti newoba oli mu diaspora naye ng'enkya odde Uganda, you're going to face it. You're going to face it. You know? Kati gwe ngamba tutule tusirike bannange protest vote tulwane era tukkiriza nti Kyagulanyi emirundi gyonna agenda kulya akalulu era agenda kulya obululu. Naye olowooza will they allow that nga bw'ogambye nti tumulangirire ffe twerangirire? You mean last time tetwakikola ne twerangirira nti tulidde era alidde? But what happened? You know? So byonna ebyo ebintu tulina obbigattagatta. Have we invented some system egamba nti kale internet ne baba bagiggyeeko people will still be getting information oba information esigale ng'etambulira ku rate nga bwe badde etambulira? No. You know? So tukize tugaane tulina okuddamu emabega. Tugambe mu budde obuno ani gwe nkolagana naye ani gwe sirina kukolagana naye. Ani gwe mbuildinga naye eggaali gwe sirina gwe omulala simugattako. Kati nganze eggaali gye nkoze nti gye nneesiga, what can we do? Kubanga obviously we cannot trust everyone nti omufuule munno okubaako pulaani gy'okola. Get those few oba 5 oba 10 kuba ne Kyagulanyi yakyogera. B'owulira b'oli safe nabo. Plan of something. Think of something. Kye mulaba nti bwe tukikola kirina impact gye kigenda okukola oba kirina kye kigenda okugattako. Naye bwe tulowooza nti tugenda kutuula tulinde protest vote smart mukwano nze trust me nzikiriza twabikola. And we did to our best. That n'abantu abamu to date bakyalina ebiwundu bye bakyanansinga kwebyo ebiseera n'abamu nti to date bakyali mu makomera baabasuulayo Kitalya na Luzira ne makomera g'omu byalo ebirala baagaana okubata baabateekako ebisangosango kati osuubira tulina kutuula era tulinde ekintu kye kimu kiddemu kihapeninge so when we oppose we don't oppose nti tuopposinga because tulina gwe tulwana kyoba tetwagala bukulembeze bwaffe kyoba tetwagala abantu baffe but we think ne tugezaako thinkinga beyond the box ebintu obiraba nga tetubirabiraawo ne twagala tulabe tutunizeyo tooki bugambe lino etteekola lisobodde oyita erisobola okukwata n'owa NRM kati ate olwo nze kadeyideyi waabwe erisobola okukwata minisita akolera Museveni ate olwo nze kadeyideyi waabwe so it is either we strategize now or twekaabireko kyekyaddala Mug, you're saying something, then Mado comes in.
Okay, thank you very much. I think the communicate. What to me I've got is one thing. In a very of the start button in Uganda, some of us don't know. May come abrupt. Different times we have planned, and we all agree to that. We have planned. Demonstrations have been planned, but more openly. Can you mute a bit? Pampa, the sound is still coming through. Can you mute a bit? Thank you. So I was of a view that this issue, some people view the protest vote not as go vote and await to be announced. Because even if we don't want, or even if we want, what thing can spark Uganda? What thing can spark Ugandans as of now? If Edmonton's issue, we didn't see it as a spark. If Marshall today, we haven't utilized it as a spark. If the shooting of our president into the leg, the projectile, didn't work as a spark, I believe one reason why November 2020 was a closer step to liberation, though we didn't utilize that time. It is because of the political atmosphere. You all know that when we approach the political time or the times of elections, what is filled in the minds of Ugandans is politics. And it means we as people here, we should learn how we should utilize that time to our advantage. When the mindset, because even right now Ugandans have already started to be in fear because the political time has approached. This is the time. How can we utilize it? First of all, we should understand what is the meaning of the word protest. In instance, you can go and search about the protest. The president was asked about the same thing and he said, it is to say no. To say no to what? To say no to this bill that has come today, the UPDF bill. To say no to a lot of things. He made a statement, quote in quote. You're not going to vote MPs that you're voting them to help you make hospitals, to do a lot of things for you. No. This vote is all about regime change. So you who thinks otherwise, don't think about the ballot box. You in your head, put in one thing. This time when the spirits of Ugandans are high, like drug, like they are on drug, thinking about politics, all the tabloids speaking about politics, when the whole world is looking at Uganda, because when we approach the political time, all the cameras are on Uganda. And that is one of the greatest times that we can do a revolution. So it is we utilizing it. Okay, remove the word vote. You take the word protest. Use the word protest in that time when the spirits of Ugandans are high. Some people will tell you that an imminent spark, yes, a spark can be there, but it should be planned also, maybe in a covert way. I'll give you an example of today. A lot of people, when Joel Senyonyi went and made a meeting and said, we are going to the parliament, all of you were on internet, you saw what was on TikTok. A lot of people rebuked. A lot of people abused him. Why would you go there? These people, but after he entered the parliament, what he did, all of us, those who were believing they shouldn't be there, and those who believed that he should be there, they appreciated the action he did, but it was organized in a covert way. Nobody knew except a few that when he goes on the floor of parliament to give a statement, it will be a boycott. So bring that to this time. How can we use the election time to achieve what we want? If the past chances have passed us, should we remain pulling ropes? No, I don't accept. Yes, I accept. It means if we remain in ropes, we shall end up even losing this time. You do what you can do better in quote unquote protest. In a way, you can do it. The president has been categorically stating this a lot of times. To an extent that he said, we are non-violent. Naye omuntu bw'ava eri n'asalawo nti nno ayagala kukozesa mundu tetumulinaako buzibu. Kasita abanga erimu ye yakulaba nti nno tujja kuteggyako nakyemalira. Which means in this theme of protest vote, everyone you're free to do what you can do to utilize the time of the voting to achieve what we all want. There is no any mode that is written that it should be used in the protest vote to liberate yourself. It is an open period. Some people may be like, on the voting period, all Ugandans of different categories of walks of lives, because you know Uganda is a working market. It is very hard to put Ugandans into one place, when, especially on an issue that is political. But when we approach the political season, especially the voting day, Ugandans come together. If we have organized very well, it goes back to us. If we have organized very well, the issue is not us announcing ourselves, but announcing ourselves as a way of uplifting the spirits of Ugandans who are eager. Yene yali abati mu kalulu amanyi bw'obeera ofiiringa ku lunaku lw'akalulu ne bw'oba okasudde busuuzi, I mean ng'olonze bulonzi, obeera anxious, ki ekiri mu box, ki ekikola ki. It is a different time. You people who are sportsmen, omuntu gw'otendese bw'aba ku track nga adduka, there is a way you feel paka nga okudduka kuwedde. There is a way you feel nga match y'okudduka etuuse nga muli ku tracks. The issue is about time. What action are you ready to do during this time? In a mode of protest, in a mode of onyanjire, in a mode of saying no to whatever you want to say no. No one should lie anyone who is here. that NUP said protest vote is like this only. It is an open book. Use what you can do, or do what you can do, so that Ugandans can achieve change. Though the larger percentage lies on the timing, when the all eyes are on Uganda, when the time everyone is attentive, what is on the polling station, when all Ugandans are all in the centers, not on TVs because they may switch them off. When awo mukaseera ako olugambo lutambula ku speed, all of you Ugandans abakuzeemu naffe abakyali abato batubadde mu kalulu, you know how olugambo gye lutambula naddala mu kiseera kya kalulu. We utilize that time, we utilize that feeling to achieve what we want. In simple terms, to me, I take it as a binding way of protest vote. Not because I want an MP to win there, so and so. Not because I want, but having something legitimate to stand on as another point. Because you people, you have gone to universities, you learned. To achieve our struggle, no one should lie to you, even the people that you like, you say that it was a local struggle and they liberated themselves. Sometimes there is a hand to recognize the governance. It is not only to come up and do whatever you want to do. We should look also at the diplomatic way. What was the reason? We have the reason because the reason the elections were rigged. But are we prepared to act before we start throwing punches to each other? I believe it would have been in good spirits that we start discussing that in the election period, what are we going to do? For example, Big Bump and Mujimatin, they have a campaign of flyers, revolutionary flyers, to sensitize communities, to sensitize, people, to uplift the spirits as we approach this time. And if you have something, because this is a citizen call, you can reach out to Big Bumper or Mujimatin. At least there you have done something. Not because you're going to vote, but to make sure that information has reached to every person that we are headed for a war. For example, my sister Juliana stated how Mohozi and his cliques, they are preparing the army to combat us. Such ruthless people, such demonic people. Should we remain discussing who is right and who is wrong? Or should we be discussing how can we also because also they are preparing for the protest vote. They are preparing for the election time. For us, how ready are we to face them during the protest vote time? That should be the thing that we should put our eyes on. And I've given you one example what the night shift has resulted to. That let's start printing out these flyers. They will be thrown around the city like how you saw the March to Parliament, how the flyers were being thrown around the city. Someone talked about messaging, revolutionary messaging before the phones are cut off, bulk messages, warning Ugandans. It can be a bulk message telling Ugandans, keep food, be alert, something is coming up. To alert them to make their bodies be out on at ease. So that I believe that's where the conversation should be focused on. Because we spend a lot of time discussing other people. But have we discussed what we can do? I believe we can discuss other people, but 70%, I wish we could discuss what we can do. What we can do. For example, we are during day tuba mucheya. This time twandibadde tutandise okuvuga day shifts. Yenna alina obusobozi akikola n'abeera ng'akikola ne tukeepinga information ng'etambula. Night shift nevaako 2 hours abantu ne banywa ku mazzi ne banaabako ne tuggulawo ne tusimbula ate nga tucommunicatinga nti woba oyinayo emergency space ng'okoona ku Mujimatin nti Mujimatin nkimanyi oyina night shift naye mbadde ninayo emergency space toteekayo space ffenna tujoyininga eno emergency space okohostinge oba owulirize oba okole bwoti nti yes okay tuleme okukolidinga mu information flow tukole mechanism era abantu civic education etambula enewe nti nno kuba n'abavaawo waliwo abo kati nga Dr. Mungadi ye obulamu bwe yabuwa struggle ojja musanga mu day shift ng'atudde ng'awuliriza omusange mu night shift ng'atudde ng'awuliriza waliwo ng'agenda kweyiwako bweyimazi ajoyininge eddako. So that is the unity, that is the streamlining, that is the kwetegeka that we should be talking about. That is the preparations we should be focused on. I believe I can stop there so that I can also take some tea. Not so much, Martin.
Thank you, Comrade Mugisha, for that. My co-host, Big Bump, I hope you're there. I want to just emphasize one small thing in a second that Mugisha has highlighted as
you take on for a while, please.
Yes, guys, we need the day spaces running. When we're together, we need information to keep running. I don't know what happened, but at least we need day spaces running. We've been calling out for this, but I don't know what happens. Like ever since March to Parliament, we are silent. We need to have those spaces running. It is one way to keep information flowing. It is one way to keep the cause burning and moving forward. So it's just my humble plea for the comrades, especially. I used to see Dr. Morgan, the good girl, and the rest, LM Dada. Yeah, we need to have those spaces running, at least to keep the cause going. For us not to cease, to give room to the junta to take over these spaces. At least TikTok, we have comrades doing their best there. YouTube, yes. Now, on X here is where the problem is. We need to have day spaces running. At least we need to know that we are dominating these spaces. The other thing, guys, do not get tired of tagging. Bino bitweets omusajja byakola, tag them to those relevant bodies. Yes, in future, this guy will be held accountable. You know, just let's keep doing what we can. But I emphasize that these spaces need to keep running. With that, Dr. James, you can take on the mic. But I see Seguia's hand is up. So Seguia, Dr. James, he has been waiting for long.
Dr. James, also kogende ndowooza kankule kogende semuka.
Yes, good. Good night for you guys, or good morning. It is good evening here because it's coming to 6 in the evening. I was listening carefully, and I just want to say a few things. I think most things have been said. Can I mention about 10,000 soldiers, 10,000 troops, 10,000? If there's any person who has fear, it's that man who is amassing soldiers. For me, beyond my lock on the door, I don't have any other protection. Beyond my lock on the door, that tells you how I'm not fearful. That lock on the door can even break. So this man, we need to address his fear factor. But that said, There are things that must be done to make Ugandans want change. If government is going to do what you like, then there will be no need for change. Because all of us want a government that serves us. Is the government of Uganda serving you? If the answer is yes, then you almost don't need change. Although you might need to change to have other players to come in if you, which are usually a policy discussion and see who can be the best player. That's why you have heard of the Obamacare, and then this one comes with this. It's just that those small things that you play around with. Yes, Juliana, I was listening to you about Kashumba, and if you, I think I just want to mention that because I came out and did a video which is I have already put it online. I'm like Kashumba. Definitely, the country is so gone that Gashumba marries and the all medias want to line him up for people. And what you hear Gashumba talking about, I asked Gashumba today that what are you talking about? Which, for example, to a person who is in America, what are you telling him? Are you talking about laundry machines? The other day, I think about a month or 2 months ago, I posted for you laundry machines thrown to this apartment where I am. And I'm like, I wish Uganda was near. Because we now got electronic laundry machines that you operate using an application on a phone. So they throw away the old ones. And so all this stuff you are talking about, I'm like, are you sure what you're talking about? Because you're in the upper whole story, whole side of the people who are living in Kololo, but you have people in dust. Countries that are serious, like here, you're not going to tell them about a car, because I've seen people driving a limousine to go and work. You've got a nurses and a nurse has a car that occupies spaces of 3 or 4 people. These cars people use for weddings. And so it's about the governed. Governing is more of about the governed than the governor. Museveni has created these funny things just to create fear. But I will tell you a few. For me, I grew up from these traditions of fishermen, of fishing communities. We even have a saying that says, I'll put it in Sabia and translate it in English. Samia should have understood what I've said. That's what I said in Samia. The protruding of eyes of a frog on water does not stop a cow from drinking water. If a Ugandan has need, no amount of a gun, no amount of soldiers will scare Ugandan. The issue is, do you have needs? Do you even understand that you have needs? I get so hard sometimes when I see what we think. Because we maybe can even ask ourselves, do you know why people want power? What do you want power for? You want power to serve people. And so if you have power and you're not serving people, rise it up should not be an issue. If people understood that you came and convinced them that you're going to do these things here and there and you didn't do them, it is very easy. I think somebody who emphasizes civic education is very, very accurate on this. Civic education. Are we civically correct or people I mean, sometimes even when we're talking about this power issue or where people want power, what is the reason why you want power? Do you have people who are poor? Do you have people who need to change? Because most of the time we are killing each other, but you have the biggest problem in Uganda is not even, sometimes I'm like, it's not even the elite. It's these ignorant illiterates who don't even understand that their vote is what puts us in a mess. I used to have time to explain to people in the hospitals when I was working that it's you who voted this for, so suffer. I tell the patients, you suffer. Mm-hmm. Even today, I also got surprised they seeing a member of the medics posting that now members of parliament are marching out because of this, but they're not able to march out because of when it comes to health. And I'm like, I wish the health workers know that it is them who are supposed to march to parliament, because here we occupy the gallery. It's the health workers who should march to parliament, not commenting that members of parliament are marching out. That's a very biased health worker who doesn't even understand why he's the one. The person comes crying in pain. Dr. Morgan, you are here. You know the principles of managing pain. After all, somebody is going to die. Why do you allow them to die in pain? Treat pain in a step-ladder form. Pain kills. And so for me, whereas Eddie Mutwe is presenting himself with all this, then you sit down and ask yourself, but go down and ask yourself that where are they? Because right now you'd want to hear people who understand what pain is. Most of them have responded to pain. You have seen him crying about pain. But there is a professional group that should respond to that pain. So the country is just led because some people are just not doing their role. You might end up wanting to blame politicians alone, but the people who are supposed to do things are also there. A man is crying of pain. He's crying to who? Not the politician. He's crying to professionals. Are you able to elucidate or are you able to demonstrate that pain? Then can we manage that pain? It goes to the professionals. So you have this country where the roles are just katogo. The roles are just mixed up. The lawyers, the other day when they picked one, I thought the colleagues will stand behind them. I'm told there was a lawyer who was picked, but now people are looking at him as a member of they call them what? The rebel something new back. So he's not a lawyer. He thought he belongs to the law society. That right now the law society would be saying, if we are going to sit in cases that you just ignore, then we are not going to sit at all. These revolutions we are talking about can take any form. The ingredients are there, but are not utilized. I think 2 days ago, I remember, for me sometimes I tend to cool down when I see arguments that are not benefiting. I told people that I was going to attend a queer function as a primary health worker because I was invited. Do you know what I took there? Lubricants, condoms. And I'm like, and so Ugandan condemns me because of their culture. And I'm like, but what culture do you have in Uganda? A culture that is in pain and you're not responding, and your culture. So for me, who went to attend a queer function, Ugandans are already condemning me. I sold my soul. I've never sold my soul. You see me, I'm somebody who has kids. I'm proud of it. I show you. But just because I attend the other thing in Uganda and started, you hit at me, and yet you're in that country that is. These people are fighting for their rights using the law. And even the people who are fighting for them are health workers. It is the health workers who are saying, let's go there and make sure we teach them about safer sex. Something I was telling you in Uganda, that I used to distribute condoms in prisons to men only. You are just learning about your culture because of politics today. Me who was distributing condoms in 1992, 93, 94 in prisons. And so it's going to take each of us learning the rights of others. Maybe you who is better educated, pulling out. This is what I told Gashum. But Gashum, a person like you and Rumenda, you should be talking for the citizens. To see to it that at least every person is brought a certain level. I came to America, classified. They classified me as a low-income earner because, yes, you don't go directly into their system. And when they tell you a low-income earner, there's their village where they stay. You got that village, by the way. It's a colony of Uganda. In Uganda, I was never to access a swimming pool. I had to go to Kampala. Here, I access a swimming pool because I mean, apartments that have swimming, a gym is part of the, and that is a country that has brought every person away. You belong to this place. So the Kashumbas who tell you about marrying Malaika who doesn't wash clothes because he has laundry machines, what will you tell? I mean, those are standards that are normal in a country where every person should use electricity, housing, and housing. You have those things in Uganda: housing, population planning, and housing, land at something. And you hear all those stories there. If those people are doing their work, the issue you're dealing with in Uganda right now is an unplanned population. It's now going political because you have not done those small things that should keep people busy. Instead of filling stadiums with younger people just now going for politics. Instead of giving jobs, creating jobs, young people are flowing to the Middle East. And so sometimes some of these things that we are doing as we speak to each other, can you explain why you want power for? Let the person in the Middle East understand that you want to take power to create jobs. Let somebody in Ajumani know we want power to make sure you have a house, not that grass thatch and mud and what grass thatch. You live at the mass of Anasonis. Let's explain to people some small things why power is done, why we want power. Do we listen to each other? So, governing is basically not about the governor, but the governed. As we are here, all of us on this world, we are the governed. What are we? I was talking about an established value. This morning I was telling a good girl. I asked her that, do you know, for example, if your husband or your man knows that I'm dating you, he will kill me. That is his established value. But we have an established value that unites us as Ugandans, that some of us are ready to defend each other. You who is educated, like each time I keep talking to my medics, my colleagues in the profession, do you know that you owe health to the citizens? And the citizens must not fight for something you have been trained for. It's you who should fight for the citizens. The simple example I'm giving you, Eddie Mutwe should be defended by medics. And I don't think these fellas can. For me, each time I look at Muhozi, and I have told Muhozi, even when I make a tweet, I tell him you're a patient. I know you're a patient. And I'm very confident that Museveni is now a geriatric in the 80s. I look at as him having needs from me than me needing. I look at himself in terms of heart failure, kidney failure. Each time he's speaking, I have never looked at him as a man who has a gun. I look at him as a potential patient. Supposing we are 1,000 people looking at himself in that way. Those guns are a fear factor. Somebody needs to assure them that when the country, when there is change, there will be a better country that they will also be comfortable in. Maybe they will be cared for better. Yes, it's painful being a Ugandan, by the way. Muji Martin, no, Mugisha, I'm not on. I'm sometimes like, let me listen to them if they will give me hope. I try to listen to you if you can give me hope. And America is a dream killer. I don't give up on the block. America is a dream killer. You come here, your education, the equivalent issues it doesn't translate, and then the standards, the life It's so expensive that becoming a street person is very easy. Trump's campaign was laughing at, at Africans that will come here to eat their cats and dogs. I'm like, I know, we don't. These are people who come from their countries, from prisons, to come and set standards in America. That's what the man was saying, and that's what they did. Did you see the post a picture of 2 mattresses? You look at a mattress, I'm like, oh, do these people know that somebody's sleeping on the floor somewhere in Africa? Somebody has thrown a mattress because of buying a new one. No wonder we come here because of chair. When they say chair, that word chair, to the Americans, they hate us, settling for less. Settling for less. And we have settled for less in our country. That's why we don't even demand. You know, that's how the other ones, we are giving you to go and eat. You give us ours now. And you want to set up a bar of soap and salt. I know it, I've been there. Anyway, good evening, good night.
Thank you, Dr. James. Thank you for that, and thank you for always being here. Mado, if you're there, you can take on the mic for now.
What tell me?
Hey, Sobia. Yes, sir. Sobia. Take on the mic, then we'll have Mado.
Thank you. It is just a minute. I'm not going to take so long. Thank you, Mugi Martini. Thank you, Dr. Mungadi, Madam Big Pampa, Mugisha. Rutalo, tuli mu lutalo wakati. Olusi wabera mu friendly fire. Abantu weba nga bakunyiga, bajja kunyiga bakowe kubanga ebyo tebibula mu lutalo. Ba mu friendly fire. Kasita omuntu yekiikawo okubira ngo liyinza okumuyitamu nga tategedde. Naye byonna mu byonna nze nina opinion eyange embeera ngikeepinga ate naye omulala sigikola ki sizibikira opinion ya muntu mulala. Olde kati nze mu opinion yange ndowooza nti bwe tuba bakulwanyisa nakyemalira nga bwe tulowooza nti bayinza okumulondera mu parliament nga bakozesa numbers ez'abamemba wa parliament, then kiba kitegeeza nti tetulina kye tusala bwe tugenda kalunga ng'omukulembeze waffe bw'agamba nti tulabe umbrella, olaba umbrella tikinga. Singa tubeera n'omukulembeze owa FDC, I mean owa PPF, naye n'agamba kyekimu ti bwe mulaba awali gundi yaffe fulaga yaffe namwe mutiikinge, then ne tukavalinga ebifo ebyo ne tuweza abamemba wa parliament, tuba tuyina era still system esobola okulwanako ne dictator mu ngeri yonna. Abantu abayinza okutuyamba okukuuma akalulu mu ezo areas gye tutali bebo bamemba ba parliament bayinza okutuyamba okukuuma akalulu ako, era ku boko tuyinza okusinzira okwekalakaasa singa babeera bayisemu nga president tayiseemu, kuba tuba twebuuza nti bayiseemu batya nga tayiseemu, then kikiba kitegeeza nti baba batubbye. Naye bwe tuba tetubataddeeyo ne tugaffe tetugenda balonda, then tuba tumuwa chance, tuba tuwa dictator chance okulonda abantu mu areas ziri kwegamba ye agambe nti nga bwe batayinaawo abakiikirira wano tewaliwo kiraga nti no bakoze ekibalinawo obululu bwonna. Kati nze opinion yange eri mu mutwe gwange, nze ndowooza nti oba wakulwana na muntu okozesa buli chance gy'oyina, tomuwa gap, wayinza kusinzira kwekwasa. Ye alowooza ye akimanyi bulungi nnyo nti akalulu takyakayina, naye ffe tumuwa omukisa. Waliwo olwokola ekintu ng'oyagala okulumya omuntu alina okkakkana ng'omuyambye buyambi. Kati tuli wano tuyiya amagezi ag'okulwanyisa dictator naye ate we tuvaamu ne tugamba nti abamemba ba parliament bo tetubalonda nga ye asanyuka kuba waba ayinawo bagundi be bambega be bw'awulira ekyo ng'asanyuka agati ombayina owulidde kakati nze obukyasiwe butyo butono sibumuwa ngamba nti kale ono agenda mu parliament eri kulya nti ye naye bwe mpeza numbers nga nkozesa ye singa namba ezo zinaawera mu parliament zisobola okulemesa ebintu ebyo by'okuyitawo okuntuukako nze siinaawo kirowoozo kya kugenda kwesimbawo ku kifo kyonna siinaayo muntu wa luganda lwange gwe nsindika nti genda weesimbewo kati nze kyendiko kyange eŋŋanze kumanya nti eggwanga lyange litambula bulungi nange mbeere n'ebintu ebirungi byempulira Dr. Mungaddi byayogera ebyo basuula wabweru nga feno tubyetaaga ku ground manye nti ne munnayuganda wange ajja kgenda yeetolole wali agenda alondeyo ekimotoka kirongoose avuge asobole okutambuza obulamu paka tulwa nafuna sente zinaagula emmotoka ekola ki emugwana ebintu bwe bityo ffenna tubyetaaga enguudo ennungi amalwaliro amalungi ennyumba abantu mwe basula nga nnungi ffenna tubyetaaga naye tetulekera dictator mukisa gwonna ne bwe kubeera kugamba nti memba wa parliament bwe yatuukayo mu parliament yayogera kigambo kyonna naye nga yasigala wa opposition nga bwe kijja nti tusayininge amannya baani abatagenda kukwata $1,000,000 ng'eri eryo erisooka ku lupapula teyayogera kigambo kyonna naye awo naffe tumanyi nti naffe okufaanaganako nga naye bw'agamba nti ayagala abasiru mu parliament naffe tubeera ng'omukisa gwe tufunye mu area eyo ogw'omuntu asobola okukuuma akalulu kaffe kasobola okubeera ak'amakulu bwe tubeera nti omukisa gwe tufunye mu constituency eyo gwa muntu oyo atasobola kwogera kigambo kyonna naye nga yayina obusobozi bw'okukuuma akalulu kaffe mu area eyo kaveeyo nga bwe tukeetaaga then eyo gwe tulina okuwa kaki nze ndowooza naye twandibadde tumuwa akalulu ne tubeera nti tutiikinga butiikinzi awali ambuleera pulezidenti memba parliament chairman wa LC3 tetubuuza nnyo ki ekigenda mu maaso tutiikinge akalulu kajje kusaidia ffe tufune we tunaalwanira tosobola kulwanira mu bbanga owulidde bwe nzirayoko ku ky'abasirikale omutwalo ekyo kigambo kyaffe ne Museveni ye asobola okugamba nti mutwalo n'olusi guyinza okuba nga tegwali mutwalo gwe yatendeka wano twalabako Kayihura bwe yatugamba nti mu kalulu kali akaggwa Kayihura yatugamba nti yatendeka ba preventers $1,010,000 $10 million muba obwo obulimba temukyabujjukira nze nkyabujjukira tebumbanga mu mutwe gwake $10 million olwaleero ba prime preventers $10 million baliwa lwaki bandibadde batendeka abalala lwaki bandibadde batendeka 10,000 nga balina ba prime preventers 10 million ne batatolako 1 million ne bagitendeka amajja agawedde ebino oyo pokopoko wa Museveni ayagala kutiisa byebibeera kati ennaku zino ku gundi asiba mu byambalo by'amagye ge yawumula edda asiba mu byambalo by'amagye atuuka n'okubisulamu oyo simulaba ng'alina amannya agasobola okwesumulula obuguwa bw'engatte ezo z'endaba asiba alayika asulamu bisule kubanga ayagala okutiisatiisa alowoozesa abantu nti nalina kyasobola okukola n'akako n'akalema owulidde ffe tuteekwa kuzuukuka tumanye nti tuli mu kutiisibwatiisibwa na buli kintu emmundu nga bwe bwabalaga nti abatendese talina kyanjawulo kyabatendeka okukuba emmundu buli muntu akusobola buli muntu asobola okukuba emmundu tekikwetaagisa nnaku 10 okuyigiriza nga bw'ogenda okukuba emmundu kikwetaagisa seconds nga wategedde emmundu ogenda gikuba otya kakati tusobola okuzibajjako ne tuzibakubisa kuba zaffe emmundu ezo zaffe tuzigula ku ssente zaffe kati batutiisatiisa na mitwalo 10 bayinza okutiisatiisa abo abaagala okutya naye nze sirimu abaagala okutya opiniyoni yange kandekera omwami oyo kuba yabaddeyo dde mabega agende mu maaso neyanza nnyo
eyanza tuyanze gyesegyayo yebale ssebo kubeera n'obwo obuvumu That's what inspiration is about. Mado, if you're there, you can take on the mic. Mado, your mic is unmuted. Please speak to us.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you, but your voice, I don't know if you're using headset.
How about now?
Now we can hear you. Thank you.
Yes, I've been listening to a lot of things. Much has been said. I, for one, I would say that going by yesterday's actions in Parliament, I am extremely, very, very happy because of one saying that never interrupt your enemy when they are carrying on their own mistake or when they're executing it. So passing the UPDF amendment bill soon to be enacted is good news to revolutionaries. It is good news for revolutionaries. Yet again, passing the political parties, organizations amendment bill is good news. So, but how and why? Firstly, of course, these things help us to even think much more and deeper on how we can take on this regime. And that is very critical. If someone has not been giving it time, now this is this can push them to give it even much more time. Going back to the question or the elephant in the house, how can we achieve regime change? I think most people have put their ideas across, and they were all, I can associate myself to almost all of them, but others partially. This is what I think. We should all first understand and agree that we are in a fight. Some might call it a war, but I say as a strategy, we can call it a protracted struggle. What do I try to mean here? I had a big bumper crying out loud, saying she's not ready to go into next phase like the first phase she went through. But in a protracted struggle, it means that we are going to face almost and even much of the same things, but we have to persevere and fight on. That is the most underlying thing. Perseverance and fighting on until we achieve our premium or supreme goal. So the first thing as a strategy is knowing that this is a protracted struggle. It might include, or it can include, whatever you call the protest vote, whatever it is okay. But it means that we have a plan that we are following. It can also include other things, mass organization and mass protests. They are also part of the whole thing. Now, after knowing that that is our strategy, that we are in a protracted struggle, then it drives us to what could be the next thing, and that is the methodology. And this methodology would link to my first statement. Why? Because we are going to use the reverse psychology. The reverse psychology is just a very simple thing, a metaphor, which means that we do the opposite. We do what we have not been doing, or we do it in a different way. how that drives us to the tactics. The first thing that I think should do for those who want elections is to come together, but in our diverse forms. That is very critical and very key. I'll give you one example of two different personalities. I think it were the Kizabesige prayers, where the leader of the UPC, Akena, and the leader of the ANT, I don't think it's the leader of the ANT, but anyway, we take him as the leader of the ANT, but I don't think he's the one. I think the leader of the ANT is Asianut, but General Muntu and Akena were at NUP headquarters, including other leaders, Martha and all those people who were there, if you can remember or recall. Now, that is uniting in our diverse forms. However, if it was a one-off, then we might find ourselves in another very funny scenario where you have Gisha Muntu as a presidential candidate, someone you were with just 6 months before. You are going to find yourself having Jimmy Akena as a presidential candidate. Now, if you are not tactical enough, you have already lost the struggle, because these are people who were at your place, home, if I may say, and now you are competing. For our ultimate goal of upstaging this junta, we have lost if we don't iron out at least those that we believe that we can move with. So that is unity in our diverse forms. Then the other thing, of course, the dictatorship uses a lot of misinformation and disinformation, and of course curtailing the media. But we have a powerful tool that we exploited, but we have not exploited enough in most of its subtle ways, and that is art. Art, I'm speaking about real art. I'm speaking about art as music, drama, dance. Why? Because art have proven through all revolutions to be very, very powerful tools of organization, mobilization, and information dissemination. So, if we tactically use the arts as forms of any of those three, it might be information dissemination, it might be mobilization, it might be organization. How can I put it across? I can take you to South Africa. There are some very nice South African songs. People don't know that we are revolutionary strong songs. There is a song known as Joanna, Give Me Hope. Joanna, Give Me Hope is a revolutionary song. It was very subtle, but its message was very clear. And many, of course, like Dube songs and all these people, Chaka Chaka, people even don't know Vulindela was a revolutionary song, yet it seemed 100% a love song. So that is using art in its entirety, subtle entirety, and achieve achieve mobilization, organization, and information dissemination, because it is very critical. The information is pushed out there. So I think arts is something that we should even give more time and space. Then the other thing is to disempower the military courts. How can we disempower the military courts? We are sorry for those who are incarcerated now, those who are held in communicado, in military courts and all the other safe houses. However, the only way we can demystify military courts is having as many people in those courts as possible, which is very unfortunate because someone has to go out from their family if they stay in a jail. However, we have to do extraordinary things if now we want to upstage a dictatorship, which is anyway going by the 40 years, not an ordinary thing. It is not an ordinary thing. We have to do something extra. What does it mean? I'm sorry to say, we even need more people imprisoned. And now people cannot be imprisoned when they don't want to be imprisoned. So we can, if we are all in this, we might start with the who is who in the country. So it means the leaders, because they pull more attention and more light to the whole struggle. Well, but that is in their court. Now the other thing, which is together with the unity and diversity, is organizing clusters. We should identify the clusters that we think move in the same line like us and make sure that they are organized. I have already told you, those people we have seen moving together. It is very critical. It saves us a lot of time and it helps us iron out most of these simple, minor clashes. We have been ending up majoring on minors instead of having it the other way around. So I think we need to organize our clusters, which are in this case building blocks. I would still use UPC as a case study, if I may. UPC has won two elections. I think, was it 2 or 3 elections? Some of them resoundingly. In some areas, of course, they were rigging. We saw it. Tango Doi fighting with Akena and all the other people who were beaten up in the north. So why wouldn't you want that fighting force to be organized? I think we can also have it, and have that organized. Then the other is for the leaders, because infiltration is a game. In fact, it is the most important power game. Infiltration. If we cannot infiltrate enemy territories, then we cannot get enough information. I'm speaking like we're in a war, which I think we are in. So if we cannot infiltrate enemy territories, then we cannot get the most information to work with. People who are at that level of intelligence gathering, because it is important and critical, should take it on. That is not something to be explained that much. Of course, the other is the usual things, but they are also very good and important to the struggle. That is creating as many media spaces as we can at all platforms and in different ways. In fact, I've had people saying, how are we going to move phones there? Man, we can't even have, we can make it a tactic, and we say we need all our people to have phones, and we get them. We can get phones and give them to those people. That in this day and era, sincerely cannot, if you are really focused. I would say I need at least 200 phones in each and every district. And some of these phones are cheap. If phones that can really have some of these apps are not that expensive, of course, we are not going for the top notch phones, but at least those phones that can be weaponized. So, if it is phones, then the team should sit down, identify the number of phones that are needed, and where they are going to be deployed. It becomes a deployment then, where they are going to be deployed, and they are procured and they reach the targets. We cannot leave any room unless we are joking. So literally, that is all I can put across. Thank you. Thank you. Martin, I'm back to you. Martin, I'm back to you.
Comrade Martin. Comrade Big Bumper. Hello. Lo ali oyinza okgenda mu maaso nga we bajja.
Okay, guys, but then, okay, I think I've noticed something. What are we fearing? I think we're fearing the SFC. It's in play here. There's nothing else they're going to deploy. These are the people they're training to take on, to even control elections. They're already in university. OC, if you go to see the OC in a university right now, you'll find that it's an SFC guy. They're being deployed everywhere, on the villages and everywhere. But then, if we are to use media, let's say social media or news, I think we need to start also bringing that hashtag towards them, the genocidal hashtag, wherever they're coming from or wherever they are in Tanzania or something. But it's the same thing in Tanzania. These guys have infiltrated the government, and we also need to support those guys when it comes to the hashtags when they're fighting for Tundu Lissu. So generally, we need to collectively expose them to the whole world, because if you don't expose them, they're going to be kept behind, and people will be thinking it's the Ugandan army, Ugandan police. These guys are doing nothing. The army is doing nothing. The police is doing nothing. All this is being happened, like it's being done by the SSC. So if we put up a hashtag that SSC is just genocidal, when they start killing people, we document, we post, then we start tagging the human rights. What these guys, they may not do anything now, but in case anything arises, at least we shall have something to build up, a story to build up on, because genocide has been there, and these guys don't want to take credit, like, hey, we didn't help them much. All those things are already there, and these guys also fear that. They know that. That's why you see in Chigali, you find out who that are really man. It's also like a mystery, but it's not a mystery because they killed the Burundi president. Even Habyarimana was killed on the same plane. You get, and these were both Hutu. But I don't want to go deep into tribalistic things, but these are the facts. You get, even at tweets, the guy you may think is joking, but he is not joking. If you look into history, the Bachuezi came from wherever, and they occupied here. They were taken away by the Luo, and then they went down south to Rwanda. So I don't know what these guys are planning, but whatever you do, tag SFC and then make a genocide in case anyone is touched, in case anyone is killed. All these crimes are going to come back onto that. Thank you.
Thank you to Ali. I'm standing in for Madam Big Pump and Mugi Martin. But if anyone is ready, wants to take on the mic, you can go ahead, please. But you two guys have really put out some good ideas. Changes ku mado enya linkalubiddemu naye kyemuyizeeko kansubira oluganda oluwulira Comrade Maddo. Siri mwogezi nnyo wa English. Nze kyenkuyizeeko otulaze nti Akena yajja ku office. Nze ndi omu ku babadde batakkiririza mu opposition ya Akena engeri gyali nti mukyala we minisita mu gavumenti ya Museveni, kati siraba ngeri gyayinza kubeera mu bulungi mu opposition nga mukyala we ate minisita mu gavumenti ya Museveni. Yali atula ku mmeeza ne Museveni ate naliki, naye ekyo kyalulala tulina kyetugoba kati. Kyendowoozezza kati ng'oyogedde awo kindaze nti Akena bw'aba nga mu Northern Uganda ayina powers kwegamba ayina powers eziri waggulu wa Rena Zedriga ava mu kibiina kyenzikiririzaamu ekya NUP. Then kiba kitegeeza nti pulezidenti wange ayina kuddira Rena Zedriga amugatte wamu ne Akena bakwate Northern Uganda. Akena watalina mubaka nga Rena Zedriga ayinawo omubaka, then awo bakole ki? Bakwatagane ekirungo ekyo kikole bulungi. Ne mu Western Uganda kibeere kyekimu. Madamu Jole ne Kanukiza Besigye oba n'omuntu yenna standing in Kiza Besigye waba tatadde muntu, kiba kitegeeza nti Madamu Jole abeera ayinawo omuntu asinga owaki Kanukiza Besigye. Kiba kitegeeza nti mu ngeri eyo tuba tumalawo ebifo byaki byanakyemalira wayinza okusimba abantu. Ne mu East ne tukola kyekimu, ne mu Teso region Kalamoja bwetu tenetugenda nga tuzingako ebifo ebyo. Owulire kiyinza okutuyambako okubeera nga tukola ki nga tukabinga up places otalina bagondi ba candidates. Bwenzira ku point ya Mr. Ali eyaba SFC, sigwe mulundi gwensoose okukiwulira okuva ku gwe, nawulirakoko olulala abantu abalala babiri. Omu kwegamba ekigambo kye nkitwala nnyo era nkikkiriza. Madamu Teacher Namboze yagamba nti Kiza Besigye yabagamba nti abali mu kkomera mwennyini ery'eruzira bamusomolerera information ne bamugamba nti olunaku lwe bamuleeta eruzira nga bagenda okumuteeka eruzira bwe bati bakyusa management ya luzira ne bateekawo abantu abava mu ggye lya SFC ne babateekawo ne babeera nga bebakola nga ba prison warders. Kakitegeeza nti mu buli kintu nga kati wegiri nti egiri lirigolize naye netteeka eppya, kitegeeza nti ligenda kubeera waggulu w'amagye gonna agali mu Uganda. Ne bwe kinabeera nti prison, ne bwe kinabeera nti police, ne bwe kinabeera ki, kale ffe olw'okuba nti ffe twateekawo omutwe gwaffe twagunyweza, abamu ne tukkiriza nti abo tebakyatufuga n'amagye gaabwe tegakyatufuga, bwe tugalabako bwe tukwatagana nabo kuba kulwana. Olidde kati ku muntu omulala yakimanye nti kati tulinayo ejje eppya ericontrollingwa mu State House wokka, nga baliwa information gye ligenda okukola nga teribuuza nti lwaki kino nkikola ng'omusirikale siteekeddwa kukola kino nedda. Lyo lijja buzi kuteeka ku bantu mbeera nzibu ejje lya SFC kyerikola kati. Ekyokubatagi nga tujja kikola kituufu. Era buli muntu alina omulimu ogufaanagana, ffenna tulina omulimu ogufaanagana. Ensonga y'essimu nsonga nkulu nnyo. nsonga nkulu nnyo era bakama baffe banaabawulira space eno nsuubira ze zimu ku nsonga ze bateekeddwa okutandikirako okubeera nti batwala amasimu ago bagakole ki bagasaasaanye gatuke mu buli kifo kyonna ekyetaagisa. Ebyo tebiri mu bintu kwegamba byetaagisa na kusondera ssente kubanga already gundi waliwo ssente zibadde zifunibwa nga ziva mu nsonga eno ya iPod. Ssente ezo zikola ku kuyamba ekibiina okukola ki okwentrenkinga kwegamba okusobola okutuuka mu bantu wansi ku ground. Kati ssente ezo zennyini zisobola okutuulwako akazene ne kakola omulimu ogwo ne bagula amasimu ne gayingira ebifo ne gabuna nga tebamaze kuwulira muntu yenna. Mukwatagana na distributor omu aleeta okuva ekyayina obawa mwe nga mumugaa nti affe bw'ogira ng'otunyiga ebibiri nga tubitambuza mpola mpola. Bw'amanya nti abakolamu akasente naye tagenda kusomola information gitwala wa Museveni kubanga amanyi nti bw'atwala information ewa Museveni bizinesi eba efa. Owulidde? Waliwo system ey'abaana okusimagolinga amasimu okugajja e Nairobi. Badistributor tuyinza okukwatagana ne badistributor ab'e Nairobi ab'e Kenya nabeera nga amasimu bagaleeta ne tugasomosa wali eri ku booda ne gayingira ki ne gayingira Uganda ne gatandika okubona ebifo. Awulidde? Ewaffe mu Uganda tewaliwo control eyo nti buli simu eyingidde bagiraba, tebalina eyo pulaani, tebannaba nayo kubanga tebainvestinga mu gundi, tebainvestinga mu bintu bwe bityo, ssente bazibba bubbi. Bannayiko omuledi yenna ayagala okuteekinga on agende bugenzi mu maaso. Ngamba bugambi nze ngambayo kuba sinze host weno gun nange ndi mwogezi bwogezi ndi mukiisipe ng'abalala. Wabawo omuledi yenna ayagala okuteekinga on ajja agende mu maaso. Hello. Hello. Natwaleka basazeewo okuwuliriza. Twadde n'enkaayana gye buvuddeko emabegaawo naye twadde kuba nno tetwategeeraganye. Tetwategeeraganye butegeeraganye nga nze ndowooza nti tetuteekeddwa kubeera mu kunenya buli kiseera, tuteekeddwa kubeera mu kuyiiya. Era nsanyukidde nnyo ebirowoozo ebizeeko ekiseera kyonna ekizeeko bibadde nga biyinamu ki nga biyina buli kirowoozo ekize nga kizenga n'embeera etuyambako okulaba ki ekiyinza okututwala mu maaso. Waliwo sisitimu eya flyers ekulemberwa host waffe ne co-host. Yeetaaga funding. Omuntu yenna yenna alina obusobozi obwo asobola okubatuukirira mu inbox yaabwe ne babeera nga bakola ki nga mubuulira engeri ensonga eyo gyetambuzibwamu. Mu luno olutalo lwe tulimu tetulekaawo kyansi yonna, tetulekaawo kagaapu konna nga tetukenyizeemu kuba buli lwe tubulekawo tuyamba omulabo okubwenyigamu. Nsaba information eno esobole okutuuka ku ki ku mukulembeze, ebintu bye twogera wano bituuke ku bakulembeze baffe babiteeke mu nkola, bamanye nti nno tubikola olw'okubanga twagala embeera ekyuke mu Uganda. Tetulina kirala kye twetaaga, tetwetaaga kusasulwa, tetwetaaga kutuwa mirimu. Olwedde emirimu tugiina, tusobola okweyiiya. Naye kye twagala kimu, twagala good governance mu ggwanga lyaffe, twagala rule of law. Twagala kulanga abantu babatta enkya n'eggulo. Katwayingira mu mbeera nti tulina ekiteewalika. Ffenna tukkiriza nti okufa bwe kuba kuzze kuba kuzze. Kuba kati tetukyadda mabega, tetugenda kudda mabega. Teriyo Museveni ne mutabani we kye bagenda kukola kigenda kutuleetera kugamba nti tubaleke babeerewo. Awo twasukkawo. Bali bakwata amajambiya ne bakakkana ku bantu ne babatema, ate ne bamala ne bakwata bamemba ba parliament ne babasiba okakananga n'omulala bamuttiddeyo yali looya we ali ku kitanda yali looya we yasooka yafa omulala ali ku kitanda tuli ku ki lwaki tuyinza okulowooza muno omuntu bwatu tusaana ati era tuddemu tumuwulirize nti era ateekewo embeera yonna yonna nti bwe tutabawo esente za ipod bajja kujja bateese tugendayo okuteesa era tukubiriza abakulembeze baffe temugendayo okuteesa kimuyinza otukolera kyokka era pulezidenti bw'oba ompulira kyoyinza okutukolera sebo tuyamba oddemu okutambula oddemu okutambula eggwanga tuyamba oddemu okutambula eggwanga towuliriza poliisi byekugamba kuba eyo si poliisi yamu okutambula eggwanga okusingira ddala ebifo gy'otaatuuka tuukayo woba otandikira ddeni atoddemu olitambula eyo olina okulimalako mu ngeri bwetyo tugenda kupima tulabe maanyi ki ge tuyina era tuyinza kusinziirirawo okusobola okuvuunika ekintu kino kanange nzizeeyo mike oba Comrade Lukangajja kuba mulaba waali oba Dr. Morgan omuntu yenna Comrade Mantisa yangu obeeko kyotugamba abeewo omuntu yenna gy'abeeko kyatugamba batugende mu maaso kiseera nnyo okuba bigambo bingi Comrade Mugi Martin, Comrade Big Bumper.
I'm here.
Yeah. Twadde tetukuwulira.
Okay. I think my okay. That was Mzinda over Dr. James from Charlie Mugule. Dr. James, are you still there? Okay. I don't seem to see the other guy. Okay. So yeah. So well, all in all, I think we must all agree that we will all at some point disagree somewhere because it's a revolution. But at the same time, we all must push on and keep fighting and moving on forward. Because when we tulaga tewali ali safe. At the end of the day, like nobody's going to be safe. You get. And so I think, like you said earlier on, that stray friendly fire to go for friendly fire, and then as we move forward, as we all do whatever we're doing, we should have it at the back of our minds that that the dictator is not seated. One bill, actually 2 bills already have been passed. More are yet to come. All in all, we can ask is how prepared are we? What are we doing? What's our way forward? And I think ours is about strategy, plans, and how we can move forward. Unless we have that,
in our minds and in all that we do, then we know that we're not moving forward. And if we have that in mind, then we know we are moving forward. So with that, that it's about working together, mobilizing, strategizing, and strategizing until the revolution is realized, and it's something that people must realize that it's all that it means.
Let me just ask one thing. Supposing, okay, they militarize the whole country. Are we going to say those military people don't have needs, like children, schools, hospitals? Does militarization of a country mean creating destitution? Because for me, I'm not so scared. I'm just like, if the military is of the caliber I have heard of, because they're encouraging doctors to join, they're encouraging nurses to join, they're encouraging engineers to join. What happens to a military man who joins as a doctor? Forget about Bariomos. Are they all going to become hopeless? But even if we went with Bariomos' standard, is Museveni sure he can maintain those forces? There should be an advantage in forces for us. If you spoke to them, some of these ones you get hungry on the road. You can spare them water, buy them a drink, and speak to them. I don't think those fellas don't have needs that are going to require, because it's like the harder they come on us, it's like you're biting the fingers that feed you. That uniform is our taxes. That boot is our taxes. That gun is our taxes. And so for me, we need to do an education. We just need to talk to the military also to show them that if medics are told to join the military, it's simply because jobs are not there. And so you're forced to join the military to carry a gun, to forget about asking for a job. I am sure military needs our needs also. That army can be turned against Museveni, like we have seen armies do. It's just that the citizens have not yet also discovered what they want. We have a task to educate both ways. Now a country like the United States, for immigrants, if you are below 25 years, it compels that you join the army, serve for 5 years and get out, and then the standards are set in that once you join the army, you're going to have education. The advantages of joining the US Army when you come here as an immigrant, and the people who have joined, I think you have had Major Moses who has come back to Uganda, and recently they arrested him. He's a man from Karangala. So I just have a feeling Ugandans, even if we joke, even if the military has needs that include housing, water, and what have you, are you sure the poor population will continue offering those services? Offer water, offer housing, offer electricity. There is a symbiotic relationship between the military and us, unless they don't know. So I don't think torturing citizens is going to make them better. I don't think torturing citizens is going to pay them taxes. Yes, you're destroying the civil service and you're creating the military. Countries run on taxes, by the way. The most valued person in the US is a taxpayer. That's why they're able to abuse you, tell you taxpayers' money. So I guess, for me, it is dressing us in fear, thinking that he has a large army. What are you going to do? Are you going to attack all countries all the time? Are we sure Uganda can run? By the way, the United States has had that problem right now because the empire became so big. They thought they should run the world. That's the crisis we have here. So Museveni is going to have a very huge crisis with that army. If you can't take it to Somalia anymore, if you can't take it to Congo anymore, if you can't take it to, they will be with us. So if we are talking about a better country, it is also for them, not for ourselves alone. I wouldn't get scared so much. And like I've said, your needs, if you know your needs, then fear must, you drive out fear out of yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. James, for that. As Tina comes on board, talking about the military, there is something that Museveni has done. He has divided the military. He has created a military within the military, especially the SFC. Well facilitated, given everything, and then the UPDF, not well facilitated, and yeah, just there. So it's like how Putin had the Wagner group in place. So that is just another thing that that's what he has managed to put up for us. And at the end of the day, we have a divided military, malnourished, and then he has the other one that serves his interest, that well facilitated. Even the kind of guns they carry are different from what the normal ordinary UPDF soldier carries. So it shows you that perhaps he has recruited a militia for himself to protect his interests, him and the family. All that, yeah. So but at the end of the day, still, it's not just being in fear, but I think it's about, yes, please.
Mbadde njagala kuwa Dr. Mungadi information nga tannavaawo yamanyiyo ba doctors bameka bayingidde amagye agaga emitwalo 10 obwabanga alina gwamanyiyo obanga amanyiyo omuntu w'okukyalo kye yayingidde amagye ag'emitwalo 10 ago ge bafulumiza omutwalo gwo gw'amagye gwe bakoze abantu bameka Dr. Mungadi b'omanyi oba Mogi Martin gwe bameka b'omanyi abayingidde mu ago amagye ag'omutwalo? Tewaliwo amanyi. Amakulu nti abo bebayingiza omwo tetumanyi gye babajja. Kyekyangu ekyokulaga kuba gweddamu olowooze myaka emeka nga tulaba abantu bava ku kyalo kyammwe genda kuyingira mu magye. Myaka emeka egiisewo nga tobalaba. Waliwo ebiseera bye byabeerawo nga ffenna tukimanyi nti awo wali yayingidde amagye naye kati olwaleero tewali. So nga buli mwaka batendeka, golooza be batendeka babajjawa. Ekyo kirina okukulaga nti Museveni ali detached ku bantu. Alina kagurupu ke, alina gy'ajja abantu n'abaleeta n'abateeka mu bintu byonna ebikolebwa. Ne mu barracks zonna z'olaba, Mogi Martin yayogedde ku mmundu nti emmundu bali ze bakozesa n'ez'abano bakulutu ze bakozesa za njawulo. Naye n'ekyo nakyo ng'okitadde wabbali. Bakulutu tebakyafuluma na mmundu okuva mu barracks. Ne mu barracks bakwata ku mmundu okuggyako nga balina mission. Abakuuma wali eri we zitegekebwa mu amare be bali ab'akagurupu kali. Ab'akagurupu kali akawaggulu be bakuuma wali we ziterekebwa. Era bajjayo ezo zokka ezigenda okukola mission. Muyingire drone mugende muwamba abantu. Yingira drone ne bagenda bawamba abantu ne babakomyawo. Olumala okubatuusa ng'emmundu bazizaayo wali. Owulidde. Tebabakkiriza kuba bamanyi nti bwe banaatagala n'emmundu ne bagenda nazo eri ku kyalo bawedde kati banaatera kujja kuba poliisi nabo bazibajjeko babagambe nammwe temuddamu genda nazo owulira kati ekiro bali mu fiya y'amaanyi nnyo naye gwe kyoba omanya nti bali detached tebayinaawo muntu gwe gwomanyi gwe bateeka mu majje ago ge balikulutingamu baabwe bw'abeerawo tebamuwa sente nagamba waliwo muganda wa mukwano gwange yayingira amagye ago aga SFC ekase ginagera ne bamutendeka babalimba ebyo mu bakomando nnyo naye yatugala training eyali eriye neya bulijjo ey'okukola zowe kera kudduka kusitula bizito okuba ttayi ebintu bwe bityo kati bwe babimala ne babaga nti amwe kati mwe bakomanda abasingayo okubeera ab'omulembe ogwabwe ye training emu gye bakozesa abantu kyenjawulo ekirimu kyakumanya nti bano bo banyumungufumuko boogera Olungereza bamanyi okusoma bamanyi okuwandiika kyekyo nga kiwedde namala nga bamuyigiriza engeri gyakubamu emundu ng'ajja mu bantu ng'aga nti nze ndi professional nnyo kubanga ebyo ebintu abiteeka buli nnyo mu lulimi lw'Oluzungu oluteredde olulinga olwa Dr. Mungadye ne Mugimati kati omuntu yenna amulya n'aga nti erino ejje liri so professional nange bwonteekawo nsobola okulwogera nga bwe balwogera naye tebalina kyanjawulo kuffe bakola bino ebintu ebya bulijjo bye tukola ne bamala ne babatendeka okukuba emmundu tebakutiisaamu yadde n'akatono tebatutiisa era tebatutiisa ekyo nze nkimanyi tebatutiisaamu yadde n'akatono
Dr. James, if you can respond to Sebia, yeah, the line is open.
Well, he just gave me information. I don't think I need to respond. The only thing I can think he's emphasizing, which I've emphasized, the military should scare no one. And it is worse if they are brought from, if they are hired assassins, if they are, then it become even more expensive to sustain. You cannot sustain a hired military. They become a problem for you. At least if they're citizens, then I know maybe they have their country to defend. But if they're just hired, then they become very expensive. The costs are going to be very high. It's not sustainable, so don't get scared. It's not sustainable. That's all I can say.
It is me and you who is paying that. It is me, it is my tax and yours that they used to pay them.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying, it's not sustainable. So you don't have to bite the finger, the hand that feeds you. They should know that it is the citizens feeding them, the citizens dressing them. It's the citizens who are buying them shoes. It's the citizens who are buying those vehicles they are using for the armored personnel carriers. So time will come when you have drained the citizens. So it's not sustainable at all. It's a scare tactic. It's a scare tactic. We're a small landlocked country that needs more technology than the army. So you don't have to fear that. Just need to strengthen the citizens. The citizens don't know what's their right. And like I told you, for me, we say the protrusion of the eyes of a frog doesn't stop a cow from drinking water. Because the cow knows it's thirsty. So let's have thirst for freedom. Let's have thirst for a better country. No need to fear these guys. They're part of us. And so for me, I think I appreciate any of them who follows me today. I was followed by a detective. I told him, I hope you have come to my world to learn. You don't come to my world to think you're following me up for. You're following me, but me, I'm following you for illness. So who follows the other? Just follow me, have an open mind, let's teach one another. Post something for me to respond to, other than hanging on my wall as a detective. Yes, that's all I have for now. Maybe to wish you a good morning.
Good night.
Thank you, Dr. James, for that. Tina had requested for the mic and then she dropped off. Tina Miranda, I don't know if she's in the anonymous. You can get back and request for the mic again. I think what I pick from James, and at the end of the day, is we must conquer our fear. We must, yes, we must liaise ourselves with the reality that we must conquer our fear. And then brace with boldness and move forward. And I think that's the thing we should do, and that's what we should emulate and carry on. They have families like us. There are women do businesses in Owino, in Nakasero, in Nakawa, in all the market centers. There are women sell gonja, they sell roasted maize at the roadside, are the ones in the small businesses. So I think we must just be bold and tell them that, you know what, we are in this together. Either you join us or it will also eat you up. So with that, I think that works. And the other is not to give up. On this, not to give up. The country is bigger than any one of us that is sick. If our parents fail, we are not going to also transfer the burden perhaps to our grandchildren. We must have it in mind and say it stops with us, the back stops with us. Yeah. So with that, I once again thank you all. I wish there will be a space during the day as well to continue carrying on the mantle of pushing the revolution forward and the cause forward. Keep doing what you're supposed to do, Ugandans, and let's strategize. Let's plan. Covertly, not covertly, whichever way, let's plan. Nobody's safe until we are all safe. So with that, Serbia ndoza your closing remarks ndoza ngenda kuggalawo space because my co-host left off.
Galavo, you're not gifted.
Yes, Serbia.
Nze nga nti oyinza okuggalawo kuba byonna tubyogedde. Etagisa okwogera tubyogedde.
N'akatina kaaba emisana bakatambuza.
Kituufu.
Because ffenna tukwataganira awamu tujja kutuusa Uganda we twagala okutuuka. Naye tugamba nti bino tubirekedde bano, bino tubirekedde bali nedda. Awo tuba twerese. Nobody safe in a sinking boat. That team is fast. Egenda kukwata ku beenaayo mu bennyini nabo. Egenda kubadde baagitagetingidde ffe. And it's going to affect everyone. They are going to use it to take people's land. They are going to use it to take people's properties.
ekisinga okunnuma impunity eri mu ggwanga kubanga olaba mugimati omuntu nga Edi Mutwe fe abatategeera nnyo mateeka kigenda wala tugategeera straight nga bwe bagatugamba batugamba nti omuntu bw'atulugunyizibwa nga tannaleetebwa mu kkooti olumutuusa mu kkooti emutabuti kati ate ne tulaba nga ye bamusibye ng'olede yeetaaga na bujjanjabi ne bamwongerayo mu kkomera eddala owulidde naye bannayuganda ne tusigala nga tetufuddeeyo kati kiba kitegeeza nti sipaaka tennatuuka nze awo nkutegeera kwangu kitegeeza nti sipaaka tennatuuka nga nyongera nga mpuushinga nga nkugamba nti protest vote kati gye nninda gwe naaba ezooba olyawo ye naleeta sipaaka naye ate era siko wagamba abantu nti tugende ku street nsigala muwa message tugende ku street enkya bw'osanga akasajja kanyige kuba kirina kye kituyambako kitwongerako akantu konna gwe kikumalamu fiya nga gwakikoze then ne kali akasajja konyize kikaleetera okutya okuddamu okweramba abantu okweteeka mu buli eriya yonna nga kalowooza nti kali sefu olw'okuba kayina emmundu owulidde ne bakama baako abakasindise bamanya nti ebyalo kati tebikyasaagirwamu obusajja bwaffe 68 mu byalo ebyenjawulo babukubye kiba kitegeeza nti abantu bamaze okutuzingako nabo bafuna okutya akatengo owulidde Comrade Maddo ayogedde point esinga okuba enkulu nebuuza lwaki pulezidenti yalekayo okuyimba ennyimba ez'omudiringanwa buli kiseera ko yandibadde agenda mu maaso n'okuyimba ennyimba Uganda ebeera nga tebamukkiriza kukola concepts azikolera ebweru kisigala message etambula kuba ennyumba ezo ziddayo ku ground abantu ne baziwuliriza ne bazitambuza buli muntu n'azifuna the message yaffe esigala etambula kati mu ekyo musaba agende mu maaso takubayo lumu wayitewo ebbanga ddene kati akube za revolution n'abantu nga King Saha nabo bagende mu maaso bakube ennyimba eza revolution nnyingi nnyo kuba atujjukiza n'atugamba ebye South Africa n'endabira ddala nga mu butuufu bambi kituufu kisobola okutugattako kinene nga tolaba ng'ekintu ekyaki ekiteetaagisamu nnyo maanyi kugamba nti omale kulwanagana na muntu okukikola tewali wa muganda agenda mu studio ye n'akuba oluyimba then wamala oddukuba fuluma agenda ebweru aluyimbire eyo mu diaspora akole concerts ennene aba diaspora bamutambuze mu spaces zaabwe abazungu bajje bamulabe owuli kijja tuyamba okutambuza ku message yaffe n'okufuna ba sympathizers abagamba nti mu butuufu bano abantu babeera nga beetaaga funding tusobola okubayambako okufundinga struggle yaabwe ku ground mwetaaga ki bogedde ku gadget singa okugula amasimu gagende gatuuke ku buli muntu yenna yeetaaga okufuna essimu nga wa struggle wakutuyambako mu kubala akalulu mu bitubo ebyo tuyinza okuba nga tusobola okuyitawo netubeera nga waliwo abasobola okutuyamba mu ekyo ne bagamba nga tikibiina kimanyiddwa mu nsi yonna nga teri asobola kiziyiza nkigamba nti ffe tugenda kuleeta amasimu gawa abantu abeetaaga ki abeetaaga okukuuma obululu kubanga ekyo kiri mu mateeka tekirina kumenya tteeka lyonna tekirina tteeka lyekimenya kituufu wano buli we tubeerawo wabeerawo ebintu ebipya era nze sejjusa kusigala nga ntunula nga ndi wano bwe mba nsobola okusigala nga ntunula nyanga kusigala nga ntunula okutuusa ng'otuntu tebutwazi naye mbaako byenjiga bingi nnyo 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 era nsaba abakulembeze baffe bateekengako spaces zino baziwulize babeera nga bo tebalina budde bafune abantu abazibawuliririza banotinge key points zebayinza okukola ki zebayinza okubawa mu spaces nga zino eziyinza okubayamba okubeera nti batukulembera bulungi okulaba nga tubeera n'eddoboozi erifaanagana ekituleetera ekyetabbikale wano buli omu n'abeera ng'asindika omulala lwaki kino wakiri kiva kubeera nti ffenna tetukakasa nti ebirowoozo bye tulina bitutuuka ku bukulembeze buli omu ayagala okumanya omukulembeze bye twogera abiwulira naye nga ebiseera ebisinga abantu abasinga tebalina bukakafu obwo twamu tulina bye tulabirako ne tumanya nti ddala abiwulira kankomaawo Mugimatimi nadde saagala kwogera message gyonna naye maze ne nnyongerayo kennyongerayo onansonyiwa nkutwaliddewo akadde ng'okyatuula.
That's it. This is the night shift. And so, yeah. But message ya free too. Night shift message ya too. And we just have to keep pushing. Change around creating even other spaces during the day that, you know, we keep the revolution burning. Like it was during the days of March to Parliament, like we just have to keep one way to gain that straight out opposite is honestly speaking. We have to just keep carrying on the mantle. So with that, thank you all. Thank you, Dr. James. Thank you, my co-host Big Bumper. I know she's off now. Thank you, Mado. All those listening in Anonymous. Thank you. We'll meet again, same time in the night shift. I also yield to close the space and have some rest. I'll emphasize by saying we are here. Night shift, we are here. We will keep pushing. And this is a platform that will keep running until we liberate our country, no matter what. Thank you.
Mm.